Today we're going to be exploring one of the easiest ways to draw fabric with folds in it. The light source for this is in the upper left hand, and that determines where the lights and darks fall on the cloth. This technique can also be used to do mountains, hills, and on a much smaller scale, wrinkles in skin. And cloth is frequently used, it's included in still life setup, so it is an important and valuable technique to practice. I'll be working on graphics 0.005, both sides matte film, and also working on my heated Icarus board. I generally use both sides of the film when I draw, but to simplify things, I'm working only on the front side of the film. I've already done my line drawing on the back, and so I don't have to fight the graphite lines as I'm laying down color on the front. When the drawing is completed, I can turn it over and erase the line drawings. Here's a reference photo, the one at the top, and the completed drawing I've done on Strathmore Bristol Smooth art paper. The results are similar, but it's much easier to do on film than it is on paper. First, let me just get my little drawing here. Okay. So first we want to put it in the darkest areas of the shadows. And this can be done one of several ways. Two main ways are to either use a complementary color of reds, which is dark green, and then go over that with the darkest red pencil in your palette. The other main way would be to use a darker tone of the local color, the darkest red you have available. I prefer to use the complementary color, and in this case, I'll be using Prismacolor dark green. Then I'll layer Polychromo dark red over that and extend it a little bit further in beyond the green, just to soften the edge where the lighter reds will be next to it. To get really dark shadows as needed, I'm using a pretty heavy layer of each. Then I'll blend and burnish the two layers together. When I work on film and Icarus board, I frequently use a stump to blend and burnish layers. This works better for me than other blending tools such as the Lyra, Rembrandt Splendor, or other colorless blenders. So let's see, get my dark green. And working on drafting film, I don't always have to have a really sharp pencil point. So let's see, get my reference photo. And here we go with the really darks. So I'm using a pretty heavy hand here. Get my cloth. So the Icarus board, as you may or may not know, softens the lead so that it goes down pretty thickly. Since I'm going to be burnishing it, I don't really have to worry about, my strokes doing the little circles, or whether I'm doing lines or whatever. I can just work the way I want to. Set my watch. Hang on just a sec. Okay. I don't want to run over time, so. Sorry if my phone camera, so forth, are bouncing around. See if I can hold it. Steady it a little bit. Yeah, there, that's better. Of course, there are more shadows to put in, but let's move on here a little bit. We don't want to belabor the point. So now I'm going to layer Polychromo's dark red over the green to get a really good dark shadow in there. Now the stump that I generally use, unless I'm working in a really small area, is a number 4. So it's a pretty large stump. And I'm just going to blend these two colors, layered colors together. In addition to this blending, in a bit we're going to be going over the whole cloth with a different color, so that'll blend them even further. All right, so I'm going to go over that with yet another red. It's a Polychromo's Deep Scarlet Red. If I can find it. There it is. And I'm going to go use that to go into some areas of the cloth which are darker but not quite so dark. Let's see, some up here. Oh, I forgot a little spot. This little place right here needs a little dark shadow. So I'm going to soften this edge just a bit. I don't want a hard edge there or here. A little bit of dark here. Let's go. Come back in with some dark green to darken this up a little bit. And my stump to blend. Soften those edges. Okay. Some more dark green. I don't worry about going over the lines because one great thing about drafting film is that it erases beautifully with a vanish eraser. Some more green. I want that really, really dark. This is dark here too. And here. Okay, let's see. Now I'm going over this whole area that I've done. Well, let's just finish up here. Real quick, because then I want to go over the whole thing. With a lovely, lovely color called Polychromo Pale Geranium Lake. Let's see, what is this? What is this? Sorry, hope I'm not boring you guys. The beauty of this is that you can be pretty sloppy. Because of all the blending and burnishing that gets done. All right, this goes up here. All right, now here is the Polychromo Pale Geranium Lake, and it's a beautiful color. It's very similar to Poppy Red and Prismacolor, just a little bit richer. So we're going to cover the whole cloth with this. And this is going to kind of pull all the whole project together. I'm going to leave that white line there because then I won't have to do much with it in a minute. Okay. Alrighty, now we're going to have a little magic happen. First of all, I need to get rid of this line right there. Okay. So it looks pretty sloppy at this point. And we're going to just burnish. Okay, now we're going to have some fun, and we're going to go in with our vanish eraser. This is a vanish eraser. Let me see if I can find one real quick in a package that you can see. Oops. This is how it comes. It's called a Vanish 4-in-1. I'm not quite sure why it's 4-in-1, but anyway, this is what I use when I'm working on drafting film because it erases beautifully. So using my reference photo as my guide, I'm going to start picking up some color. And I'm going to go over this with white. And I can pull some of the red out into the white. Soften those edges. And frequently, just for better blending purposes, I'll just go in and use my pencil lead on the side. Particularly when I'm working on the Icarus board, it makes life go faster and blends better too. So this white over here that I left, I'm just gonna, oops. Okay, more vanish eraser. I hope you guys can see okay. Turn my board down a little bit. Sorry, you guys, I don't have a great technical setup here, so just have to go with what we got. That a little bit. This is a Statler Mars razor, they call it. It's actually an eraser, but frequently I will use it for blending as well. I don't use it with very much pressure because I don't want to erase really. Okay. And in some cases I do. Now you can see some of the lines, the line drawing, but remember it's on the back, and so when I finish, I can go in and erase that entirely. It's not going to be disturbed at all. I'll go back and reestablish edges and so on and so forth as I work. Where's my... Go ahead and put this back in. Some back in here. Now you can get a feeling for what's happening here. We've got lights, we've got darks. So you can see the light is coming from this way, and it's creating all these lovely light areas on the cloth. Okay, this goes here, this goes around here. Now, Great thing about this eraser, Mars eraser, is you can sharpen it as well. Clean off some of the color that's sticking to it. Come in with my vanish again and pick some of that up. I wonder if you can see, looking at this, how it could possibly be used for like hills and mountains. Just picking out some of the lights. Sorry about the bouncing around, guys. This is should be a harder line right here. Harder line, sorry, I'm probably not speaking loudly enough. Okay. Some here. Okay. So we have some coming here. Going with my pale geranium lake. So you can see I'm just using a few tools, a few colors to reestablish some things. But really, that's pretty much it, guys. A little bit right here. Okay, I think we're done. This is on video, but I will be with you here at the meeting. So if you have any questions, I'm going to lighten, kind of neaten this up a little bit here. And then I'm going to turn it over and get rid of those lines. And call it a done drawing. Wait. Hang on. Get this back here. A little bit here. All right, we're just gonna go over the whole back of this and get rid of these lines. Okay. So obviously, if I were doing this as a drawing, I would take a lot more time with it, and I would make it a lot neater. So, but basically, I hope that you get the general idea. See some white here. Okay, I'm going to say that's done. And see, I hope you enjoyed the demo, and I hope you learned something from it. And like I say, I'm here for questions. Thank you, and goodbye.